Hello and welcome to Let's Talk SEO. So I've been traveling and this request has come in a few days ago, and someone asked me, how would I know that my website has been hit by an algorithmic penalty, a manual penalty, or if it's just Google flux, or maybe I'm losing links, or maybe a competitor may have outranked me. Well, there are a few ways to tell if that's the case. In this video, I'm going to show you how to self-diagnose the problem so that you know exactly what you should do to improve the traffic to your website or improve how well your website is ranking. Now, I must say this as a disclaimer that many times if you don't have experience looking at Google Search Console, which is something we will be talking a lot about in this video, you might miss a lot of the subtle cues that Google Search Console sends to users about their websites. So I'm going to make this very easy. Just about anyone should be able to tell, for the most part, what's wrong with the website's traffic. Now, a lot of the stuff you can't just say outright. You can't just look at a graph and figure out exactly what's going wrong. For the vast majority of stuff, that's some major items. For instance, if there was an algorithmic drop, you can tell that there's an algorithmic drop by just looking at Google Search Console. The same goes if it's a manual penalty. The same goes if it's Google Flux. And so I'm going to look at these, and I'm going to look at other and I'm going to look at other, and I'm also going to discuss other reasons why traffic drops. And so stick to the end of the video because I'll also share some tips on how to improve traffic to your website. Okay, before I go into the video, I just want to say that I offer SEO services. You can go to cloudscodubai.com, whether you're looking for monthly SEO, whether it's a website audit, or even if you're looking for a topical map. You'll find all of this on my website, cloudscodubai.com. Also, I'm going to offer backlink services. So if you're looking for backlinks to your website, high quality, excellent quality backlinks, that's not going to get your website penalized. That will soon be available on my website too. So you'll be able to buy backlinks directly from my website. Put together a team that does this for my own clients, and now I have the capacity to sell these services on my website to my subscribers. If you're looking for backlinks, and the service is still not on my website, live on my website, but if you're looking for backlinks, you can send me an email or fill out my Google Forms, and we can discuss. If you're looking for monthly SEO, you can fill out the Google Forms, and we can discuss, and I can give you a quote for monthly SEO. Now that I have that out of the way, let's jump into the video. Okay, so the first case is a manual or an algorithmic penalty. Usually, you will get penalized manually or algorithmically, and there will be a sharp decline in your traffic. This is very evident if you go to Google Search Console and you open up your Search Console, you'll see that steep drop in traffic. Now, the common misconception is that you will see a drop in traffic around when there's a Google update. Not the case. Just because Google announced a core update or a helpful content update does not mean you will see a drop in your traffic right away. Many website owners that are ranking on the first page of Google may see that hit right away, may even see it within hours of that update being announced. But if your website is not on the top page or is in a foreign language, the foreign language means a language other than English, you're not going to see that drop right away. You might see a few days later, maybe weeks later, and in some instances, I have seen it months later. Also, Google now coupling its updates together or putting them together, it's very hard to tell what update may have affected your website. So it may be one update that's affected your website or two updates that affected your website. But when you see the steep drop in traffic, it often means there is a algorithmic penalty. Now, you can check if you go to Google Search Console, click on manual penalties on the left, and you don't see a manual penalty and you still see the steep drop in traffic, then it means it's an algorithmic penalty by Google. I have various videos on how to recover from different Google penalties. You can go and check out those videos. Every penalty, every Google update is going to be different. And so you can check out those videos if you've been hit by the helpful content update, the core update, the reviews update, whatever update you've been hit by. I bet there's a video about that in the past year that I've made that will help you recover from that update. Now, the next one is you've got outranked by competitors. Now, this happens a lot, and people then attribute being outranked by a competitor to a Google update. That's not the case. If you see a steep decline in your traffic, that signifies an algorithmic penalty. But if you see a gradual decline in your traffic, which means that instead of the graph being straight down, it kind of is curved. And so you might see spikes in your traffic recovering, but then it goes down. So overall, if the trend of your traffic goes down, it means you've been outranked. And usually, if you go to Google Search Console, you pull up the last 12 months, and the last 12 months is recommended if you're doing this kind of diagnosis, is you'll see this gradual decline in your traffic overall, a gradual decline in your clicks, your impressions, and also your average rankings. If that's the case, there's a 90% chance you're being outranked by your competitors, which means you need to get your SEO on point. And if you're doing your own SEO, get a professional to do it for you, because you probably don't have the time to do the SEO required to keep up with your competition. Usually it's because the competition is investing a lot of money in their SEO. They've hired a digital agency, they've hired people to work on it, or they have a hired separate department that does that for them. If you're up against that kind of a company, you're going to be outranked. You'll get outranked by one company, you'll get outranked by a second company, outranked by a third company, and before you know it, you're on the bottom of page one for a keyword that you were number one for. So this is something that has to be handled right away. As soon as you see that decline in traffic, hire a professional to diagnose the problem, fix it right away, start working on good SEO. The third problem is your website sees a decline in traffic because of on-page issues. This is a lot more common than you would think. A lot of the on-page issues are pretty easy to fix. For instance, if you have duplicate H1s, if you have the title and the H1 with the same, like on my website. Also, if your website, if you have orphan pages, all of those are problems that Google looks at and says that this is not a quality website. So over time, what happens is your pages get demoted. Another problem is your content is not updated. And so if you don't update your content for years, you will see a gradual decline in your traffic, because Google prefers newer, updated content over your content. This is especially the case with blog posts that you silo to your service pages. If your blog posts don't perform as well, or as well as they were, then your service pages that you're siloed that content to is not going to do as well. And over time, you're going to see a gradual decline in your traffic. And so the graph over here will look a lot like it looks like you're being outdone by your competitors. But if you go to your pages section and you click on and you see that there are a lot of pages that are not found, or a lot of pages, it's an educated guess, or it's an educated estimate that it is your on-page problems that are causing your website to derank or lose rankings. In that case, I would suggest you get an audit. And here I'll plug my audit services, which is a lot more affordable, a lot more in-depth, and gets to the point, and anyone can use my audit to fix their website. So you can go to cloud.seo.dubai/audit, buy my audit services. The next one is your website drops because it's losing rankings. This does not happen as much as it used to 2 years ago, because Google is not as focused on backlinks as it was 2 years ago. If you look at your backlink profile and you see that you have lost high quality backlinks, highly relevant backlinks, like from industry websites, like from the Chamber of Commerce of your industry. If you see that you lost those kind of links, and around that time there's been a drop in your traffic, it can be said that losing those backlinks have caused your traffic to drop. Now, the way to fix this is to obviously try to get those backlinks back. If you can't get them back, then actively build high quality backlinks with outreach, guest posts, you know the drill. So that happens a lot. The other thing you need to keep in mind is losing rankings because you've lost backlinks will usually affect one or two pages that those backlinks were pointing to. So if you go to pages, if you go to your Google Search Console and you click on performance, and then you click on pages and you check the page that it was linked to, that backlink goes to, and you see that that page has declined in traffic, and also it has declined in rankings, then that's a good indicator that your website lost its rankings, or that page lost its rankings because it lost that backlink or even a group of backlinks from that website. Finally, there's Google Flux, and this can either be a slight drop in traffic, this can be a major drop in traffic, and you have no power over Google Flux. There's no way to fix this. I've seen a lot of Google Flux throws my clients into a frenzy because there's a steep drop in traffic often, and then they don't know what is going to come up. Usually when I see a steep drop in traffic like that, and we've not made any major changes to the website, I know it's Google Flux, because after a day or two, it comes right back up. This is how it looks. The best way to spot a Google Flux, at least for me, is I already have clients, so I know that there are no on-page issues, no linking issues, no competitor issues, and no node updates. Then it's an educated guess that it's Google Flux more than anything else. Usually your website should recover within a day or two. If not, then you need to take a second look at the pages that had suffered, the pages that had declined during the Google Flux. And over 10 times your website will come back. But if not, then you need to get your website audited. Again, Cloud SEO to buy/audit, buy my audit service. I'll help you figure out why your traffic has declined. So there we are, folks. This is how you can figure out what's going wrong with your website. As I said earlier, there's a lot more that goes into this. This is a great place to start to make an educated decision as to whether or not it's a Google update, if it's competitors outranking you, or if it's Google Flux. Let me know in the comments below how your website is doing. Like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.